Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Meatball Machine, Kodoku, a Japanese horror film from 2017. So while dealing with a midlife crisis, Yuji's life is falling apart. He's a debt collector, and not a very good one at that. Fortunately for him, there's a really cute girl, less than half his age, who works at a local convenience store and likes him. But most regrettably, he learns that he has cancer. So in response to this bad news, he throws caution to the wind and aggressively begins to collect on debts and improves his work performance. He's also able to get a bit closer to his love interest. Then, aliens invade the planet and begin to destroy human life. It's up to Yuji to save the one he loves in a city full of monsters. So this film is yet another in the recent portfolio of crazy, violent, humorous Japanese gore films. Now, as most of you know already, Japan has been producing violent films for over 50 years at this point, but a small handful of filmmakers have created a flood of crazy gore films over the past decade or so that have a distinctive comedic edge to them. Now, these films exploded onto the international scene when The Machine Girl, directed by Noboru Iguchi, was released back in 2008. Soon after, Tokyo Gore Police, directed by Yoshihiro Nishimura, drove everyone nuts later that same year. Afterward, a flurry of other J-gore titles were produced during the years that followed, with Meatball Machine Kodoku from 2017 being the most recent entry. Now, this one was also directed by Yoshihiro Nishimura, who most interestingly did not direct the original Meatball Machine from 2004. That entry was directed by Yuji Yamaguchi and actually predated the J-gore craze that became popular in 2008 and subsequent years. And I can tell you right now that fans of this subgenre are going to like the movie. Most other people are not. Now, the lead actor is Yoji Tanaka. His name will not be familiar to just about anyone. But we've seen this guy in a ton of movies as a supporting character. And I've personally seen him I personally have not seen him ever in a leading role. And I saw this guy, I don't know, at least 50 times in movies over the years. He's always a supporting character. And it's really nice to see him get to carry the load in this one. So it was really, when I first saw him and realized he was the main character, I'm like, sweet, finally, I've been waiting for this guy to have a lead role. And it's in Meatball Machine 2. So Ei Shina from Audition fame also is in this. She has kind of a smaller role as a tall woman with long white hair and a top hat who drags a baseball diamond field stripe machine behind her. I'll just leave it at that. Now, if you're unfamiliar, or if you're familiar, I should say, with Nishimura's other films, like Tokyo Gore Police, you should not be surprised to hear that Meatball Machine Kodoku gets perverted even before the aliens show up. And once they do show up, it becomes immediately offensive in its style of violence, which is excessively graphic and bloody. There are some scenes in this movie that are just wrong, I guess you could say. Pretty demented stuff, but it's all the better for it. Now, of course, if you've seen the first Meatball Machine film, you will have an idea of what to expect. Body horror imagery that combines machinery and human flesh, because the aliens in this film use machinery with advanced technology to rip through their victims' flesh and turn them into monsters. And I have to give this film credit. It's very creative, even when compared to its predecessors in this subgenre. The actual invasion sequence itself is very amusing and fun to watch. It gets pretty freaky at times, but again, that's one of the reasons why we watch these movies to begin with. And if you've seen any of the other J-gore films from recent memory, you should expect blood. Lots and lots of blood. I think I read somewhere that the director used 2 tons of blood while making this film. I'm not sure if that was true or not, but that would be pretty cool if he did. Helps to balance out some of the cartoonish CGI, with some of the practical effects. So it's nice to see, a lot of practical effect blood used, although there are some instances, I think, where CGI blood is also used as well. So, and of course, like a lot of these J-gore films, there are CGI projectiles that are used as well. So just so you know. But this film has horror imagery in spades. But sometimes a film's strength can be its greatest weakness. And one of my personal criticisms of these recent J-gore films is that sometimes the insanity is sustained for so long that it becomes tiresome in some respects. And I do think that Meatball Machine Kodoku does get a bit tiresome during the second half. For example, there's a chase sequence, which Nishimura likes to do quite a bit, that's intercut with a fight scene. And I think it drags on for just a bit too long. It's just one long scene that just kind of drags a little bit. Meatball Machine Kodoku might actually be too fast-paced at times, and could have used a few moments of downtime and character interaction during the latter half. But with that said, I am somewhat forgiving of this because these movies are very distinctive in their style of direction, violence, and humor. Not many films like this are released in any given year in Japan or anywhere in the world. So I'm actually rather thankful that their enthusiastic attempts of being excessive are preserved in these films, And another thing that I'm kind of impressed with regarding Iguchi and Nishimura specifically is that, although their films have a signature style to them, especially in terms of special effects and tone, they are frequently distinguishable from one another. I have read comments over the years from people who think that, all these movies are kind of the same, but I would contend that, The Machine Girl, Tokyo Gore Police, Robo Geisha, Vampire Girl vs. Frankenstein Girl, Dead Sushi, and Meatball Machine Kodoku are actually quite different from one another, at least in terms of story. And the most memorable scenes from each film are very distinctive to that film, and I like that. I'm actually kind of glad they're still making one or two of these films a year, which isn't that much when you think about it. I kind of like this subgenre. It's a little different. And as I mentioned previously, fans of this kind of film are going to like it. Most other people probably won't. And fortunately, it's available on Amazon Instant Streaming, DVD, and Blu-ray in the United States. And as always, we will see you next time.